computer. I'm recording this computer. Everybody's
It's a
recording this
hundred
computer.
I ain't
goddamn.
recording shit.
No, you don't have to record shit. Record your shits, man. We'll dub those in later. Oh man, yesterday I was teaching mint classes 5 and 6 years old, and this kid was like standing up in his chair. I just hear this ripping noise, and the next, and I just had to leave the room for 2 minutes. Valencia was teaching, so I could do that, but I was like, oh my God, he just gassed the room. It
Did
was
you
so
guys
foul.
did you guys get the news of the president of the United States shitting his pants on
Yeah.
TV? Okay.
No, I didn't.
Just wondering.
You're the
Okay.
one that told me.
As
Okay.
opposed to metaphorically doing it like he usually does.
Yeah.
Is
Well, I
that in
mean, he
the
probably literally does
headlines?
it a lot
Mm.
of the
I
times.
hope it's a headline. CNN headline.
I don't
President
fucking know. I don't
shits his
watch
pants.
news anymore. I get news like you're supposed to through fucking Reddit, unfortunately.
No, it doesn't look like. Yeah, that's Reddit news. Okay, that's why I didn't hit it because I just looked at the Fox News wouldn't report that shit.
Unfortunately, Reddit is one of the less filtered ways to get news now. Um, and
MSNBC's the libtard network. Let's see if they put it as a headline. I hope so. No, everyone's showing that much respect, which they shouldn't be doing.
no, I mean, isn't MSNBC owned by a billionaire now or something? It's like I
Everything's
don't
owned by a
think.
billionaire. That's why media is broken.
Yeah, it's
President.
let's
What
decide
have you
what
done?
order we're gonna do this in
Soils
before we
himself.
start. What?
I'm
Oh,
just doing a
you
search
can
here.
see a lady.
I think I should be in the middle because mine's the most like adjacent. Because
Okay,
I watched Better Luck Tomorrow.
I
And
started
I did
and
watch
I
a little bit of
watched
the
it.
cartoon.
Oh, good. Because I didn't really get a chance to play that game or look at it. And
I
that's the only game that's like that's well liked seemingly. But okay,
I
let's
could run
do
a. I could go first.
Matt, you go first. Mine might be the longest and not and without a lot of merit because it's going to be a lot of me just talking about games that are bad.
Hmm.
Three men set out with a mission to watch the top 100 and bottom 100 films of all time. They got halfway and decided to take a detour into the Fast and the Furious. And they got halfway through that and decided to take a detour into theme park rides and shit.
Hey, we're driving Fast and Furious. We're going through CGI tunnels. It's great. Mark went through some CGI tunnels. There's Mark. Hi.
I did. Hi. One of these games was like almost immediately. It's like get off at this highway ramp that's coming up. By the way, you're in Japan, so remember the highway exit is on the left. And
You
guess
do
what
have
I
to
did?
remember that.
I missed the off ramp.
That's why no one would let me drive when I went back to the States.
I mean, good. Nobody should drive.
Huh? I drove home
Nobody
from the
should
post office.
drive. I mean,
Oh,
we're
I broke
watching. I
that
mean,
rule.
this is a fantasy where people should drive.
Yeah,
This
because people
series.
can like magically park crowds like the Moses parting the river so no one ever gets hit by a car.
Okay, as we're putting our theses, I guess I'm Matt. I of course wanted to go to the theme park, so I did, on video. Neither of them exist anymore. They're about to open a Fast and Furious coaster. It is currently testing in Hollywood, but before that, there were two theme park attractions that we're going to get to where you almost get hit by cars. You see the worst acting of the entire franchise from the stars. It's amazing.
I'm Luke.
I don't.
I'm the canon guy, so I watched the animated series about Dominic Toretto's cousin, and
It's
I
about his cousin.
Justin Lin's first film, which features technically Han in his origin story.
And
So he
I'm
has two
Mark. I'm the
origins. You,
gamer.
you already said
Aside
Mark,
from
and
Luke.
you already said what you were
No, I
doing.
didn't. I didn't say that.
Okay, put it,
I didn't
spell it
say
out.
Mark yet.
I said it was Mark.
M A as in ass, R as in car, and K as in car,
Hmm.
and M as in motherfucking. What was I gonna say? No, actually, I might dispute your claim, Matt, of the worst acting in the franchise because I played and watched footage from some of the video game adaptations.
So this has the original cast.
One of them does.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I'll get straight into it. There are two attractions that were at Universal Studios. One of them was only in Hollywood, and the bigger one was in both Florida and Hollywood. But let's go back to 2006, where this is after Tokyo Drift, and Universal's starting to get the wind that hey, maybe this franchise is worth something. It's like actually, even with Tokyo Drift, it didn't make them much money. So uh, this is Tokyo themed. It's part of the backlot tour. Have you guys done Universal much? I haven't been to Universal since '95. So
I mean, I've been to the
I've been to Universal
Florida
three
one.
times because I like the Nintendo bit.
right. How about the other bits?
It's all right. There's Jurassic
Okay.
Park. There was Jaws.
I've been to the Florida one twice. The first time I went to only the studios thing. The second time I went to a lot of stuff, including Transphobe World and the a bunch of cool stuff like Poseidon's Wrath and the Revenge of the Mummy, and I could go on for a while, but it was cool.
Did you get supercharged? What year was this?
2015?
Oh, you could
I
have
don't
been.
think that was there.
Yeah, it opened in 2018, I think, in Florida. It's 2015
Bummer.
for Hollywood, but
Spider-Man disappeared between my first and second visits, so I'm
oh,
glad I
that's a
got to ride
bummer. That's
that.
a good ride.
Yeah.
I
But yeah, I
actually
have very little interest in Disney as a anything.
Hmm.
So I'm much more interested in Universal,
Well, if you do make
especially
it
with
there, the
Nintendo
the new
World.
Peter Pan ride will toss you around a little bit like Spider-Man.
Mm.
If it's the ride mechanics you're into. Obviously, you're missing the Spider-Man of it all in that case, but
It's mostly the Spider-Man of it all that I'm
they could add
into.
Spider-Man to Peter Pan. It would make sense. I mean, you didn't add Spider-Man to Peter Pan when you went through the list of adding Spider-Man, but he could certainly fit there. We can find a reason. He's a Lost Boy. He's wearing a costume. Works out easy.
I did not ride Spider-Man because on the turf simulator I actually like this it jerked around so much and the screen was like so washed out and shitty and not linked to the ride that I had to puke, but I didn't know whether I was like over someone else, so I just swallowed it.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah, don't do
And
that.
then I didn't ride any more simulator type rides because I was afraid. But you know what? I rode roller coasters because you can trust those not to make you, at least if you puke off a roller coaster, you know where it's going
Well, the
because you're not in the dark.
2006 Extreme Close-Up attraction was part of the Hollywood Backlot Tour. So you're just driving in the tram or whatever, riding in the tram. One guy's driving it, and it had you see you're on a neighborhood street. You see Dominic Toretto's car, and they start making announcements, and then you pull into things that look vaguely Tokyo-ish. There's like a sign for ramen and katakana, and it's supposed to be a special effects demonstration. So first they explain what's happening. It shows a bunch of squibs go off and some water shoot out, and then they're like action, and there's a fireball, and the cars come flying towards you on giant kuka arms. Which no one would ever use that for movie production, that would be insane. You'd see it, you'd have CGI it out. But the story of why it's there is mildly amusing. You said you went to Transphobe World. Did you ride the ride?
I rode the two roller coasters that are like interwoven with each other. Um, and then I rode the one with the screen. I think they've put a different one in since I went there. Like I think the two that I rode, the dueling dragons, are gone now.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, in
gone.
Japan it's the Flight of the Hippogriff, so it's just one roller coaster.
The flight of the hypocrite, you said?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's the same thing in Florida. Again, I haven't been to the Universal Parks in Florida since for 30 years, so they were quite different back then. You could still get Back to the Future. Makes sense, 30 years
Yeah.
Back to the Future. Um,
And now when I go, I'll spend all day rolling around in the grass in Mario Land and not even think about other things.
Anyway, when you were on that screen ride, you were on what they call a KUKA arm, which is something you could put from a
Mm-hmm.
ride that it's very versatile and goes in many directions. And it was developed in the mid 2000s, so Disney and Universal were trying to like you could get a 10-year exclusive use of this if you basically were the first to make it work. So that's what the cars were basically for. It was to use this technology. So later they put it on that screen ride you're talking about.
I
Uh
call it a puka arm.
So after they fly at your car, it looks way more exciting in the commercial, of course. When you watch the video, it looks quite pretty derpy. But that's when the good part of this happens. It's this tour. They have to be funny, so they say, let us introduce you to Karma and Carnage. So now the cars have names, and show us a little dance, and they start dancing to Gasolina for a few seconds, and then they seem to kiss, and then they go back to their old spots. So they have a little kiss, which I think that's important. It
Wait,
shows their car humanity.
no, wait. Did Disney think about suing them because it's a plagiarism of the film Cars, which where
No,
those
that's
cars kiss?
Karma and Carnage, right?
Oh,
So yeah, it's not Karsma and Carsnage. It doesn't. I think when
do
we get to
they?
F9, because I was researching, there's going to be a Carnage car in F9, I think. So the Carnage is not
Huh,
over. This is a
do the
pre-Carnage though.
cars? Do the cars in the films Cars kiss?
I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't know if it's possible. I mean, yeah. They'd have to play a game of chicken to kiss, wouldn't they?
Interesting.
Hmm. Well, there's something to think about.
There's something to
This
think about.
this attraction stayed there for about six
Does
years.
that mean that Dom and Shaw kissed?
Yes.
Yes.
And then like later basically Shaw ends up bottoming because Dom Dom, true to his namesake, takes the top position in that
Hmm.
collision, in that
Hmm.
kiss.
Right.
So there it rhymes. Ring theory.
Yeah. Of course, it's all based on Tokyo Drift in here, so it can't be Dom. He only shows up for a second at the end. Shaw's not there at all.
No, Shaw is there blowing up Pan, as you if you know the canon.
Oh, well,
That was all planned
okay.
from the start,
Yeah, it was all
like
planned from the
George
Of
start.
course.
Lucas.
So
Yes.
anyway, this attraction lasts on the tour for about 6 years. The reason it closed is pretty amusing. Apparently, some of the producers around 2011, 2012 took the studio tour and drove into this part and was like, "What is this garbage? Get rid of it as soon as possible." So they closed it like within 2 weeks after that, and it's still there. Karma and Carnage are just sitting there. It's not currently part of the tour.
That's so funny because we don't talk about this much, but I do feel like probably the consistency of this franchise is because the producers working on this probably do give a shit about it being good,
Well, one of
you
the main
know?
producers is Vin Diesel.
So
Maybe
there
it's.
you
I hope
go.
it's Vin on the ride. Close the shit down.
That's very funny.
Anyway, that's where we go, and at that point they're like, well, this franchise has only gotten bigger since we put this crappy thing on the studio tour. Did either of you guys have a chance to watch that, by the way?
The video
I
you sent?
watched it a little bit, yeah.
Okay, you got the dancing to Gasolina,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's the important part. That's the what makes this magical, even though it's gone. Well, no, or not used, I should say. It's not gone.
I
Extreme
did
close
too.
up.
And Matt, for listeners who haven't watched this video, it really does. It looks like you think the cars are going to drive forward, and they just sit there, and you think they're going to drive forward, and you think they're going to drive, and then they just raise up out of the ground and dance around, and it's like, what? It was pretty surprising.
It is amazing. I think it should still that one should still be there, to be honest. I get where the producers weren't happy with that because it's stupid, but um, that's the good stupid. So unfortunately, the next version is like the worst kind of stupid, where they so obviously they're like the franchise has only gotten bigger. They got to make a better ride. So they have another studio tour thing. This is going to be the grand finale. It was the grand finale for a while, which was Fast and Furious Supercharged. So as you're driving up to the building, they're having a few. You start getting your screens come on because these trams all have screens, and they have the actors. Who's the actor who plays Mia? She's here. Um, The Rock is talking to you from the tram. Like I'm taking control of the situation. I'm taking control of your tram, right? And you drive in and you're going to the street party, which as we've watched the Fast and Furious movies, I said the place I want to be the least is one of these parties. So it's like a street scene, and they have the like holograms of partiers or whatever. They all get driven out,
Hmm.
and then there's a confrontation. Or no, the gang gets together. So Vin Diesel's there, Michelle Rodriguez is there, The Rock is there, doing their worst acting ever. That's where I'm gonna like clash heads with you, Mark. You might have one actor in yours. We had the whole gang there. I think Paul Walker was already dead
Hmm.
when they actually did the filming. You can find behind the
Uh,
scenes stuff of this of Vin Diesel on green screens. But they're all holograms and doing their worst acting, which makes it kind of creepy. Um,
hmm.
and then they're like, don't use your flash, don't use your cell phone, or Owen Shaw will find you. in this in this dark, empty building, which
That'd
he
be amazing
does.
if they just had a guy dressed up exactly like a lookalike, and then he went and just attacked people who like turned their cell phones on.
No, they got the guy who played Owen Shaw. He's in it too.
Oh, okay.
You go into the next room, which has a screen. It's a wraparound screen, and on the Hollywood version, you did have 3D glasses, um, which wraps around. And first, you're in a parking garage where Owen Shaw tries to kill you. You know, Dom slams him with his charger, and you're on a race through the streets of L.A. Um, with Fast and Furious stuff. So what happens? Letty jumps out of her car into an excavator, also moving at high
Yeah.
speed, uses the excavator to slam the arm to put Owen Shaw into a concrete wall, meaning she just actually killed Owen Shaw, and you don't see him
All
after
right.
that. There's a bunch of drone helicopters coming, so at that point, Dom climbs out of his car, grabs onto the drone helicopter, which I was disappointed to learn it was a drone helicopter because the helicopters are the same size as him. So if you're thinking about wonky effects, it's hysterical. But but the whole thing looks weird because they have the actors. They shot some LA street footage. They had a ton of CGI and they chose this worst of both worlds to like push everything into the uncanny valley. So the CGI looks
Mm.
bad, and the real I mean, the real scenery looks bad, and the real actors look weirdly fake. Like they almost look like, like cutscene versions, even though it
So,
is
like,
the actors.
are you sitting still and watching this, or are you moving, or?
You're in a tram, right? So it's not a motion simulator. So you're on like a gurney or something that just kind of
Hmm,
shakes a little bit.
right.
Then you got the 3D effect. Um, they put this in Florida and replaced the earthquake ride with it, which is a super bad call. Mark, I'm sure you did the earthquake ride.
Yeah, I did. I don't remember much about it. Like I did a Twister thing also.
It has practical effects. That's a big plus,
Mm.
right? So they
I've done the
retro.
earthquake simulator at the Natural History Museum.
That's not. You
Cool.
live in Japan. You don't need the simulator.
No, not anymore. No, also it's literally simulating a Japanese conveni at the one in London.
That.
Hmm.
So where were we going with this? Oh man, I lost my train of thought there.
So he's
Uh,
jumped out and grabbed a helicopter.
oh yeah, and then you can't follow the plot of this. They're screaming stuff, and it doesn't. Nothing matters, and they're all acting like they're being held at gunpoint, which I guess contractually they are. Probably when they
Hmm.
signed on for Fast and Furious, there's a clause way down there like, hey, when we need you for a game or for the theme parks, you need to come in. They got pretty much. Oh, Ludacris is here. I mean, like pretty much everyone, and Paul Walker, I guess, was all had already died when they did this, so he's not there. But pretty much the gang's all here. It's all about family, man. So the Florida version, they replace Earthquake, which is a much better ride. You go in, it's supposed to be like, the garage, they got cars in there. They say you're in San Francisco now because it used to be the Earthquake ride. So you're still getting onto the tram thing at the station that looks like San Francisco and going through
Hmm.
that scenery. Uh, and then it's basically the same ride. So I think they have a little bit of a better motion simulator, but there's no 2D. This is now a major attraction. Everyone hates it. It's basically considered to be the worst theme park attraction in existence, and I believe it closed last year, so it is gone now. The only one now is going to be this roller coaster. So I do
Hmm.
have a few reviews. I'll do a normal thing, just read a couple reviews. There's only two tens for the thing. I love this ride and I'm just trying to boost up the score. Haha, it makes no sense and those are the best rides. It brings me back to the early 2000s. I'm here for it. Pros, it's seated and the pre-shows are fun. Cast members do a great job. Cons, none. I said what I said. So,
All right.
yeah, one more 10. I'll read both because there's only two. Went on this the first time without ever having watched the movies. I just watched all of the movies recently and I'm ready to go on this again now that I am in the loop. Pros, recently watched all movies and more excited to go on it again soon. Cons, not having watched the movies the first time. So these are from allears.net. That's where I had to go to find reviews for this. There's a lot of them though. Only want two ones. If we go for the least positive, I think we get some way more. Uh, Legendary Paul Walker did not die for this ride to be what it is. Highly do not recommend. It is an embarrassment to Universal and rides all across the globe. Pros, none. Cons, everything. I like that.
I,
Go ahead, Mark.
oh, I just realized that I could look up reviews for games.
Yeah, you can do that. Oh, here's one I like. Someone listed things I'd rather do than this ride. Ride nothing at all. Wait in line at the DMV. Get a cavity filled. Sit in stand still traffic. Spend spring break in North Korea. Listen to three awful songs on loop. Oh, wait, that is part of this garbage ride. This ride is quite literally the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. Save yourselves. It's too late for me. I had never ridden this ride before, so I ignorantly waited an hour only to ride the worst ride ever created. Yet, we got to note in Hollywood, it didn't get as bad reviews because it's just the tram tour. The tram goes through it, whatever. This one, you got to wait in line. You'll be
Mm.
too busy plugging your ears in anticipation for the next deafening blast of fog that will shoot out from the front of the party bus. Yes, you read that correctly. In a Fast and Furious ride, you will be riding a party bus and a astounding 0.00001 miles per hour while something happens on a blurry screen. What is happening on the screen,
Ugh.
you ask? Heck if I know, because I was sitting in the middle of the row and couldn't see anything. I think I heard Dwayne Johnson. Could have been a hallucination as my brain was trying to disassociate from what was happening around me. When I tell you every person on the ride looked like they had just been through the most tragic event of their lives, not a single smile was had. Seriously, do anything else. I understand you're looking into riding it because the wait times of other rides are really long, but trust, waiting in line for something else will be more fun. Pros,
Mm.
the rude people in front of us had to ride it too. Cons, I may
Uh,
be deaf now. I waited an hour for that. The live actors in the line were absolutely terrible and looked like they wanted to die. And what was the plot? So, I mean, the Florida one even screws up the plot because it was custom made for the, you know, uh, California tram tour, right? So now what they say doesn't make sense. You enter the party bus in San Francisco, but the ride's itself in LA. So there's a lot of confusion there.
mm.
Okay, that's me. I think I'm finished with that. So it sounds like Fast and Furious Supercharged was neither fast nor furious. Well, it made
It's
people
it
furious.
it's bizarre because like just slap the name on a regular roller coaster and shape the cars like cars.
That's what they did for the new one.
Yeah, like that's all
They,
it ever
Well,
needed to
it took
be.
them 20 years, but they finally
oh,
maybe got it right if the roller coaster's fun.
well,
And the
I've
and the
I've seen
cars
footage
turn
of
on the
it.
roller
Yes,
coaster. Yeah.
they
Yeah,
don't turn. No, they don't turn. They
the
drift.
drift.
Okay,
Right.
they rotate. They rotate to the right or the left as you go around corners,
That
which
sounds
is
pretty
going to be
sick.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Hopefully they do the back. I assume neither of you care if I spoil the Donkey Kong roller coaster.
I've already had it
No, it's
spoiled.
fine.
You
There's a
don't
bit where
try.
you come around the corner and you're about to hit Donkey Kong's car, and then you suddenly drop out. So if they can make it look like you're about to hit a car,
Oh, they live on lots of rides. Luke, you rode
yeah,
Indy with me. You get the boulder and then the car drops down, right?
yeah,
Show
yeah.
people
But yeah,
pictures.
just
Yep.
it came real. Felt like it came real close on
Ooh.
Donkey
So
Kong.
okay,
Well,
well,
that's
30 years later, they get
Yeah,
that little cooler.
yeah. Donkey Kong Ride is very like technologically advanced. The two-track system. It's pretty rad. I can't wait to ride it whenever I get to the state I don't want to go to.
Mhm. Did you do the Yoshi ride?
of course I did it.
Yeah, yeah. I actually heard that people like that one quite well because it's more than you expected, whereas maybe some of the other ones aren't quite what you expected.
After the Yoshi ride, it's very slow. It's cute. The problem is the first time I went to Nintendo World was like 2021 or two, whatever, and I could actually ride everything. Whereas these days the queues are so insane. Like we queued 3 hours for Donkey Kong.
Wow. Okay.
Jeez.
They got single rider.
And single rider is still almost as long. I think we did go single rider.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh no, we didn't because it was our first one. But then yeah, like Mario Kart, we were in single rider. It's still a long queue. So
Mm.
you can't you have to pick like two or three rides at USJ now.
Well, actually, let's ask about Mario Kart then, because that one doesn't move very fast either. Fast and Furious Supercharged doesn't really move at all. So
Mario Kart doesn't move that fast, but it has the gate. You're playing the whole time.
hmm.
You're like shooting enemies and stuff, and it's doing a lot of different tricks to send you this way and that way and blow you cold air and fire and stuff. So it's not like a high speed ride, but it's engaging.
Yeah, well, Sony's never going to get their shit together and make a PlayStation World so I can ride a Wipeout ride. So, uh,
And
I'll
F-Zero is
take it.
dead, so we're not getting one of them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, even if it comes back, it's not gonna. I'm trying to think.
It's not going to
What
come
what
back
would I
that big.
really? Yeah, I'd love a Kirby Air Riders ride that was like, you're like lying face down and it goes really fast.
I think the next thing they're planning on doing is some Zelda.
They've got to do some Zelda next, but I don't know what that would be in terms of a
Minecart.
roller coaster. I think that would be more like an experience, like an escape room sort of thing.
You know what? Maybe I wonder if they won't do that because the Epic Universe has the Isle of Berk. I know that's a completely different thing than Zelda, but like, what would you do with Zelda? It's like probably the same sort of stuff you did with How to Train Your Dragon Land.
If
Yeah,
they can
but
make a proper dungeon where it's like you are in a dungeon and you have to find the key. Now that wouldn't work because it would basically have to be like one party at a time
Yeah,
and they
talking
might
about that
be
3 hour
dumb.
wait time.
Yeah, they might be dumb and not figure it out. And well,
or they do it as a VR thing, like they did for Monster Hunter.
they could make that work. I think
I'm
there could
sure
be an
they can make
awesome
something
dungeon.
work. And I don't really care about the rides. I just want to walk into Hyrule.
I
Mm.
would like to
The
throw
rides are almost
bombs.
like the bonus.
Yeah, I'd like to throw bombs at the ass of a large creature,
Mm.
if
Like the Mario
possible.
section does kind of do a thing where you go around, do little mini games to get keys, and then you fight a boss. So I think they should lean harder into that angle for the Zelda one. I don't really care about a Zelda roller coaster that much.
And
I'm
maybe they
not
could
even.
do a WarioWare ride where it goes through like multiple like vignettes that last half of a second, and you go
And it
through like
farts at
30
you
of
the whole
them.
time.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Just 30 like completely random things in a row. God, yeah.
Talking about random things in a row, let's push the ball into
I
the world
watched
of
Justin Lin's
ah,
2002 film Better Luck Tomorrow. It is described by Wikipedia as an American crime drama film that follows a group of overachieving Asian American teenagers who become bored with their lives and enter a world of petty crime and material excess. The plot is loosely based on the 1992 murder of Stuart Tay.
was it everything you hoped it would be?
I mean, yeah, it was a coming of age drama about some teens where one of them happens to be Han, and he's like the slightly cooler cousin. So
Oh,
he
he's
he, he plays the classic Han role of like he's more interesting than all the leads, but he's not the lead.
oh, okay. So he's always the mentor to
I think he
disheveled
was the
teens.
same age as them. He's just cooler
Mm.
than his like idiot cousin. And then yeah, they get wrapped up in some crime. They end up murdering John Cho,
Oh, damn.
and then like by the end of the film, they've all kind of gotten away with it. But like one of them shoots himself out of guilt, and then Han presumably leaves into a life of crime.
Heads for Tokyo to drift.
But
Before
when
doing a
the
whole bunch of other stuff. Yes.
but so this film came out 2002, so just after Fast and Furious, and it has the line "Rumors about us were coming fast and furious," and I was like, "Oh, I guess people used to say Fast and Furious, but now it's so associated with the film, you wouldn't say it anymore."
Hmm.
Yeah, it is
Yeah, I
interesting.
guess.
The idea that Disney's Frozen is so big, so now when you type Disney and Frozen, you won't get things of people talking about Walt's head being frozen anymore.
There's definitely
Oh man. Yeah, I think I heard that.
like if Breaking Bad was ever a phrase before the show Breaking Bad, now it just means the show.
I
Fast and Furious, I
definitely had
remember
never heard
that.
Breaking Bad
I remember
before.
Fast and Furious being used before, but
Yeah,
not
but
Breaking
now
Bad.
you wouldn't, right? Because
No,
people
now
would
you
immediately
wouldn't.
think of the film.
Yeah.
I had to watch the show Breaking Bad to understand what that even meant. I was like, when I heard of the show, I was like, does that mean that they're breaking
Becoming
apart
good,
something that's bad? Like they're
B,
mining
and
minerals that
then
are bad? I
A,
had no fucking
and then
idea.
D. I just broke down. That's breaking down bad. Okay, that's different.
Yeah, no. It's they find all the copies of Michael Jackson's album bad and they smash them. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I can do that, I guess. Um, anyway, the movie, did you just explain it? Was that the
I,
the be all end all of that
Like
movie?
it's on YouTube and it's worth a watch. Like it's not the kind of film that I'm usually raving about, but the characters were all likable. There was a little bit of romance, a little bit of drama, and then like something tragic and insane happens.
Would you rank it above any of the Fast and Furious movies we've watched?
Oh God, no.
Okay, that's the main review there, isn't it?
One interesting thing, you never see any of their parents, and I feel like that's a deliberate like this is what happens when parents neglect to actually be involved in their children's lives emotionally.
There
Because
is
they're all
also
obsessed, like I've got to get into a good college. Everything I do is for my college application. But then you never actually see any parental figures, barely even see any teachers.
it might actually be partly an Asian thing because there's a lot of things where more well-to-do people in Taiwan or college professors and things will kind of just send their kids and set them up even for high school. So I had a classmate in high school. Actually, I took her to homecoming, but it
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
famously an Asian thing, that.
yeah, her and her brother lived in this really nice house, and like an aunt or someone would show up like every once in a while.
Yeah,
But
one of
they
the kids, I think John Cho's kid is kind of like that.
Okay, because if I hadn't experienced that with my friend in high school, I'd be like, that's insane. But I'm like, oh, actually, it does happen. That's an
Well,
amazing amount of trust. Who knows what she was
I
up
think,
to though? We weren't up to that much for homecoming.
I mean, at the risk of no, the the stereotype is Asian parents overbearing, but it's like
Hmm.
you have to think that your parents, like Asian kids have Asian parents who had overbearing parents, so they might be like way more hands off.
Hmm.
Is like I definitely like I don't
Well,
know
it's
my
like
closest.
the last five Pixar movies have been about Asian kids wanting their parents to apologize.
Yeah, I was gonna say like my closest Asian friends, their parents are chill as fuck. Like we can just hang out with them. They're super chill. Their dad
Oh yeah,
likes
like
model airplanes and stuff.
me
It's
and
just
Matt teach in Japan, and it's my students literally their parents are only one of two ways. They either don't give a fuck about anything, or like you will be a doctor.
yeah. Yeah, and that's like a lot of that's a lot of like immigrant parents in general. Like my dad was really overbearing, so I'm like this.
Hmm.
So yeah. I heard like secondhand that some relative of mine was disappointed that I was working a delivery job, and I say to them, if you're listening to this, now I'm not even doing something for money. I'm just talking into a microphone for free. So fuck you. Uh,
Well, I guess give us a rundown of the anime, which I was more anime. It's not really
No,
anime.
it's a CG animated
Animated
series.
series.
Yeah.
Um,
Another teacher in Japan thing, you just start calling everything anime, right?
yeah, like you'll ask a kid what's your favorite
Yeah.
anime, and they'll say SpongeBob. So,
Yeah.
it was fine. It
How
had
long?
it looked there's like six seasons, but they're like 30-minute episodes, whatever.
Hmm.
It looked a lot. Have you ever seen any Transformers Prime?
Yes, a lot of it actually.
We have more
Very
than the
similar animation style. So I was really hoping one of the cars was going to transform, but it never did. Um,
Wow.
it was basically a Fast and Furious plot, right? Like the kid, it's Dom's cousin, a kid street racer. He gets recruited by Miss Nowhere
Yeah.
Ooh.
to go and do missions. Dom shows up for a cameo in the first episode to recommend them, and then yeah, they just like they're doing Fast and Furious stuff. They're doing a little race. They're doing a little heist. It's all kids' cartoons, so it's not as exciting.
Yes, but I'll say if that, I
Did
mean, a big part of the actual movies
Is
is
see the spectacle of seeing real cars get smashed up and
smashing
stuff.
cars is really deserts and smashing cars are the biggest spectacles you can do on film, I think.
Hmm. And
and
then
you
it has like decent writing, but the delivery isn't quite good enough to make it pop. It feels like one of those shows where everyone recorded their lines separate from the rest of the cast. So there's some okay zingers in there, but they're not like popping off.
you didn't get into the fact that the enemy organization is called SH1FT3R Shifter.
Shifter.
The video game based on this is called something like Fast and Furious Spy Racers: The Rise of Shifter.
Hey, you got to shift. You'll burn out the engine otherwise, or whatever you do.
Like
I miss Leet Speak, man. Bring it back. Bring back Leet Speak. Fuck AI.
I think I would
Bring...
have been into this if it had come out. Like you know how we used to get like a Rambo cartoon and a RoboCop cartoon?
Yeah.
I can see how this had I bet Tori watches this, Matt.
Yeah, sure.
It's
But I mean, Fast and Furious never goes past the PG-13, so that's not as big a
not like a
stretch.
kid. Yeah, but a kid can watch it once in the theater and then come and watch this every week.
I mean, RoboCop is a fucked up movie. I mean, a great movie. Love
Mhm.
RoboCop, but yeah, I mean, you got that,
I mean,
that dude
I
melting
was
in
watching it
toxic
when I was
waste.
3, but I
Well, I
shouldn't have
was,
been.
well, maybe
You
I
kind
couldn't
of
have. It wasn't
can't.
out when I was 3, but yeah, I saw it when first saw it when I was like 8, so which was maybe a year after it came out. Was not a theater one. My dad did not take me to go see RoboCop.
I don't think anything in RoboCop is worse than like Large Marge and Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I think that's as bad or worse than anything in
That's
RoboCop.
a jump scare, isn't it?
I don't know. Him getting shot to bits at the start is pretty horrifying.
I guess that's on the level of that. Anyway,
And
Large Marge, scary.
but yeah, the idea of making a cartoon out of RoboCop does seem like far more insane than making one out of Fast and Furious.
It was all that Reagan thing where it's like you can sell anything to anybody now with your media, and it's that sort of just went away, which is
That's because
hilarious.
kids stopped buying toys so much, right?
Well, yeah, it's like why would I buy toys when I could buy video games?
That's
Hmm.
literally the plot of the upcoming Toy Story 5, apparently.
Well, good luck to them.
Hmm. Bonnie ain't gonna love no more. She's got a frog iPad now or
Are they
something.
building up to the Toy Story versus Wreck-It Ralph?
I should
No, they're
hope
gonna
so.
fight. They're gonna fight amiibos.
They got to fight the small soldiers, don't they?
Oh, the small soldiers would wreck their shit, Matt. Woody would not stand a chance against Major Chip Hazard. Be like Bambi versus Godzilla. That would not be a fight.
Okay, pit 'em up against the brave little toaster or something. Appliances versus toys. Does that show have any actual voices at other?
Everything. Dominic Toretto is Vin Diesel,
Yeah, I assumed if it was a cameo, that was Vin Diesel. But
but I
is that
didn't see anyone else even in the cast list.
okay?
Oh,
Just curious.
I know one of the recurring characters is Vin Diesel's daughter.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, that's not quite a connection, though, is it?
No, but
Eh,
she's playing like another character. But yeah,
It's like one more Toy Story reference. It's like how, of course, Tom Hanks voices Woody in the movies. Any other time you're hearing Woody, it's Jim
it's his
Hanks.
brother. Yeah,
Yeah, which I actually kind of like
hmm.
that's
that.
kind of cute. I like that.
Yeah, he does the job, so whatever. But yeah,
I mean, aren't we gonna see Paul Walker's brother wearing his face and Furious Forever, Fast Forever?
Who
This is
knows?
it
this is
depends on
our
if that movie
first.
comes out.
Now we recorded this since we've recorded the last episode of this news dropped that Fast Forever is now set for a March 2028 release date. I think
And Mark, you were saying it's going to
2027.
be right around the time we finish the list, right?
Yes,
That would be perfect. We've come away from
that
Fast Films and Filth, and we finish off with one more Fast and Furious.
that was my
although
original plan. Actually, I was like maybe right at the time we get done, they'll have that finished, and maybe
mm,
Hobbs and Reyes. You thought it was going to be Hobbs and Shaw too, but no, Hobbs and Reyes, which may or may not happen. I don't know.
Is that what's been announced? Or,
Yes,
oh,
Hobbs and Shaw is on hold. Hobbs and Shaw 2. I don't know. I don't know if any of this stuff's gonna happen.
I'll get back to you after we
isn't
watch
Reyes
Fast X,
dead?
but not anymore.
Is anybody? I don't know.
She
Is
got
Paul
shot in
Walker
the head
dead?
before Dom's very eyes.
I don't know. Wait, no. Wait, that
Who's
not
Reyes?
um Khal Drogo. What's his name?
Oh,
That guy. The guy we haven't seen yet.
you haven't met him
Um,
yet, but
Oh, that's why
no,
he
I'm
is going to
staring
be
blankly at
much
the screen.
harder to he's going to be much harder to redeem.
I don't know.
Maybe he's going to be a pure villain in that one then.
They can redeem anybody. They can rehab anybody and resurrect anybody in this series
Hobbs versus
because
Reyes. I do
that,
have. I'll tell you after I watch Fast X, but right now I do have a perverse charm to the idea that they end this giant franchise on a cliffhanger and never resolve it. Kind of like
As-
Galaxy
and you
Quest,
haven't
right?
even seen the cliffhanger. It's a wild one to end on.
Okay, so we'll see what I say after I watch that. But putting a pin that I think I like the idea that the series goes dumbly unfinished in the end.
It is very funny.
Mark, I guess the ball is in your court.
Jason Momoa, that's his name.
Yes.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
Lobo.
yes, Lobo aka Aquaman. I love these guys just building up their resume with a bunch of, like how Willem Dafoe has been Jesus and the Green Goblin and Nosferatu.
Well, I
Uh,
started with Momoa with because I watched Stargate Atlantis. I've never watched SG-1, but I've seen all of Atlantis and Universe, so that's how my weird stargating goes.
I haven't
Pervert.
really watched any
I watched a lot of SG-1
Stargates.
because it was on TV. I've never like sat down and watched it.
Oh, I got the Blu-ray set of Atlantis and Universe, which are relatively cheap. Mark, you might like Atlantis. When I was watching it, it gave me very strong TNG vibes.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff like what Sequest and shit like that from that era that I
It was
never
better than
watched.
Sequest, so yeah.
Okay, I just never. I'd really just watched
You
Star
don't
Trek and then stopped
watch
watching
Stargate
TV.
Atlantis. You sit your white ass down and listen.
Okay. I mean, I watched The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. and I watched Star Trek and a couple of other, like I watched The Untouchables for whatever reason.
Hmm.
It was entertaining enough. Um,
And then you played some
anyway,
Fast and Furious video games.
I some so video game based on the first movie was scheduled for November 2003 for PlayStation 2, but it was canceled and that was going to be developed by Genki, which is a company that does, believe it or not, mostly racing games. Um, let's see.
Would this have been like PS1 era? Or
No,
N64 or
definitely
PS2?
solidly PS2
Okay.
because the first movie was what 2001.
Yeah.
Because remember, like, because of movies take less time to do than video games, they
Mm.
basically. But probably the best received and the best known game is an arcade game, which are either of you guys familiar with Eugene Jarvis?
Nope.
I'll
Well,
echo.
let's take a trip back in time. He was born in 1955. He was actually one of the first like named video game designers, partly because video game companies didn't used to bother crediting anyone. But he basically he made Defender. That's the short
Okay.
version.
I
He
know
tried to
Defender. My
put
dad was a big fan.
yeah Defender and Robotron 2084 and
Ooh.
the sequel to Robotron, the spin-off from Robotron 2084 called Blaster. That I know, Matt, you might remember this, that I made you play it a bunch of times, which is kind of one of the first person like flying shooting games. It kind of, but because there's so little like it's not actually 3D graphics weren't actually possible, so it's kind of like this abstract mess where a bunch of squares are just kind of floating around. But then
Was it as bad as the
sometimes
time you made me play a Virtual Boy?
uh no, I think it's better than Virtual.
Matt, guess what's arriving at my house this month?
A migraine?
They've
Oh,
made a new it's a Virtual Boy shell that you plug the Switch into, and then you can play Virtual Boy games on there.
Prepare for migraines.
No, I've played a Virtual Boy before. You're full of shit. They're fine.
Okay.
one time, Luke, I played a Virtual Boy because Panic Bomber, which probably will not get released because the rights are all tied up between like Konami and
I don't know, man. They're
somebody
releasing
else
some stuff I was not expecting. Like they're releasing unreleased games
unreleased
and
games.
Japan only Lovecraftian horror games.
Well, my basis for that is because you know the company that keeps putting out like reissues, Hamster.
Yeah.
Like they've done almost every Neo Geo game, but they haven't put out that one. And that's one of my favorite
Mm.
games. Really, it's a Bomberman puzzle game, so it's like sometimes there are bombs you drop. But I played that for something like 3 or 4 hours straight, and
Mm.
then I went outside and the sun was blue.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, I'm okay.
They've also you
Um,
can change the colors now.
yeah. Also, I mean, I have two other ways of playing Virtual Boy games, but I'm still getting the Switch one. But anyway, but Matt, you might remember it that between levels, sometimes you would get energy and you'd fly into a big giant E, and then it would like just have a bunch of E's all over the screen.
Oh, and you scream E. Yeah, okay, I remember
Yeah.
them.
Anyway, well, basically, Williams was the company that published all those games. They were merged with Midway and merged with Atari, and a billionaire named Sumner Redstone basically gutted them and appointed his daughter the CEO. He also is a controlling shareholder of Paramount. I don't know if that sounds familiar at all, but
Oh, I know a
anyway,
lot about Southern Redstone. That guy's real screwed up.
while that piece of shit
He
was
makes
doing
Jeff Bezos look cool.
Yeah, while he was destroying the most sacred, wonderful thing in the world, which is all the best arcade video game companies at the same time. Jervis went back to college for like a master's degree, came out, made Narc, which
Everybody loves
you
Narc.
guys familiar with Narc?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one where you take drugs as power-ups, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is basically RoboCop for the war on drugs. It is
Mhm.
it is a hilarious like parody of it that was so violent that it basically upset parents in just a completely different way. Um,
Yeah, all the
they
console
worked
versions had to take out the blood.
yeah, and he also worked on Smash TV, Total Carnage. Again, very like funny tongue-in-cheek games. Then Mortal Kombat, and I placed his college thing in the wrong place. I think that came after that. But well, no, college came before that. Sumner Redstone came after that.
Hmm.
So then that all got fucked up. He came back starting his own company called Raw Thrills. Raw Thrills still exists now. They're kind of one of the major arcade manufacturers in the US. They do a lot of kind of nostalgia things. Their very first game was called Target Terror. Have you guys played Target Terror?
No.
It
Nah,
is
ringing a bell.
basically
I could
Narc
look
for
it
the
up.
war on terror. It's like Area 51, but you're just blowing up terrorists, shooting them into like paste because you're supposed to think about how fucking stupid the war on terror is.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, but their second game is The Fast and the Furious, and that's why I think this guy is the perfect guy to adapt this because
Hey,
he's made
Mark,
all
just to
these games.
interrupt you for the Japanese
Huh?
title of Target Terror is Target Force in Japan.
Wait, in Japan is in the title?
Force in Japan. Target.
Target colon Force in Japan. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were saying it was called
Target
Target
Force.
Force
Oh, no, no.
in
Target.
Japan.
I tried to put the pause in the right place. Okay, sorry. Moving
Okay.
on to Fast and Furious.
Fast. I think this is the perfect guy to do Fast and the Furious because he understands how funny, how to make stuff like awesome.
Funny, but also you can take it serious if you're inclined.
Yes.
That's the trick.
And something I left out is he also made Cruisin' USA in the 90s, which is pretty important because he's basically the guy who started the Cruisin' series, which the Fast and Furious games basically are that. In fact, when one of them was ported to the Wii, it was renamed to just Cruisin' because they didn't have the rights to a home version because the other version that never came out had the rights to the company that was making that had the rights to the home version. So anyway, I'm looking at the cover of the Wii version of Cruisin' and it looks like a Fast and the Furious. It has
Yeah,
like a
I have
muscle
that.
car. Yeah, it's a muscle car driving next to a fast like Porsche thing. Um anyway, well, that game is good. um it's got the whole nitrous mechanic that we reference in the hilariously in the opening theme to this podcast. um that was followed up by let's see. That was followed up by Fast and the Furious Drift, Fast and the Furious Super Bikes, and Fast and Furious Super Cars, all which came out within 7 years. So they're all kind of the same thing. I mean, the bikes one, you're on bikes, but they're all pretty fun. You've probably seen them if you've been to an arcade. They're just all in the Dave and Buster's and whatever. Of course, those games are called Wild Speed in Japan. If they when they make it to Japan, I don't know if all of them did,
I feel
but
like I've played it, but I mean, I wouldn't have
I've
known
definitely
it.
seen it in an arcade, but I might not have. If it was next to the initial D machine, I know which one I went to, you know?
Okay, yeah, I was sitting there thinking, well, am I just thinking I played Initial D a lot?
it's a
Because if I,
different thing.
yeah,
Initial
no, I
D
know
is
it's a
much
different
more
thing,
like
but
Ridge Racer. I have
right
it.
before I'm saying I still haven't seen Initial D, and I hadn't seen Fast and Furious, so my brain wouldn't have even really made the distinction at the time, right?
Yep. But yeah, they did Raw Thrills just to cap that section off. They made a Terminator Salvation shooter game, and one time I went to an arcade and like somebody like one of the games wasn't working and it had a huge gigantic text on it that said insert dongle. And I
Ooh.
like to think that was part of their sense of humor.
Mark, did you play
So
Cruisin'?
what the Wii version?
Sure.
No, I
Okay.
mean I've played the arcade. I've played all the arcade games.
Okay. I'm
Like
just
that's
noticing the Wii version has like extremely bad reviews.
well. Speaking of extremely bad reviews, there's basically every other game. Like we're just getting started here. So let's see. I moved my window and I lost my place.
And he's only just getting
Games.
started.
And I'm only just getting started. In 2006, a game called The Fast and the Furious was released for PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable. I played this game. It's basically you start out, you're just driving, right? And a guy's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna lend you my car. You gotta beat this guy who shows he's about to show up, and you beat him. Drive to this location faster than him, and he'll be so humiliated that he'll give you a bunch of money." That is literally the opening stage. No one is on the road. It's just you. This one guy passes you. And the first time I was confused and didn't catch up with him, and he said, "No, I know you ain't losing in my car." And then I had to do it again. And then it was like you're on the highway and you have to hit an exit that's on the left to go somewhere. There are no cars on the road. Nobody's on the road. It sucked. I quit. It's just like a disembodied guy telling you things, and there's nobody on the road. This turns out to be kind of a running theme with a lot of these games. Nobody being on a game where you're alone.
That's because
And
you're
then
such a
there's a
badass
guy.
driver. They want to get away from you. They don't have to deal with your driving.
Okay. Next came a bunch of mobile games that I didn't even really bother messing with. There is a Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious, Adrenaline, Fast and Furious 6 the game, Fast and Furious Legacy, and Fast and Furious Takedown. Um, yeah, I kind of tried to play some of them and couldn't get a
They got a match
reliable
3.
emulator to work. I don't know. I went on the App Store and see if I could find any of them, and I downloaded Fast and Furious Hobbs and Sean, which was again a game where you're just driving alone, racing against a couple of other cars. It controlled better than the PSP one, so I don't know. Then came Fast and Furious Showdown, which I also played. It seems like something where you go back and forth between multiple scenarios. It's supposed to bridge the gap between the fifth film and the sixth film. So opening scene is like you're Letty and you're with Owen Shaw, and Shaw's like, "I want you to take down everybody," and Letty's like, "Okay, I'd love to do that. I'm gonna do crimes," and you're both in wedge cars and you're just driving around flipping cars that you see with wedge cars. You're just flipping cars.
Hell yeah.
That was kind of fun, actually. Then the second one was the bank vault. Like Brian, and for some reason, Brian and Tej, Dom is not there. I don't know why. And you have the bank vault, and the physics are real janky, and there's barely anybody else on the road, and you can't really tell what the vault's doing because it's behind you. And if cops catch you for whatever reason because the physics get weird, then you lose. I made my way through that, and then the third stage is again you're Brian and Tej, and you're street racing in like LA somewhere, and it was a race that was hard, and I kept failing, and it wasn't fun, so I stopped there. That was it.
Most of these
Um,
mobile games are not official, though. They even have to put in the
what?
top like it's not official. Yeah, because you
Well,
can
probably
you
you're
can
probably
slightly
not.
change. I'm looking at your
You can
Hobbits
get
and
away with a lot. Oh, the Hobbits and Shaw
Um,
one we knew. That one's a
well,
joke.
right,
But
right. But
yeah,
there's
but
several of these I'm
what I'm saying
finding.
is that I think the official ones all lost the rights to the franchise because Fast and Furious Showdown was released in 2013. You cannot legally buy it anymore. Um, and the one after it, Fast and Furious Crossroads, which came out in 2020, also you cannot illegally buy it because even it has lost its license by now.
Here's another one:
Um,
Furious 8 drag racing. With the next thing it says is note: this is not an official FF game, but it's got
yeah,
the
yeah,
logo
I
and all
think
that, right? You've slightly
all
changed, I'm
just a
sure.
fun, right? So it's pretty
Right.
easy.
I honestly think that all the multiple mobile games that I listed all just came and went. Like those things
That's
just
how
must
they
have
usually
lost their
work.
licenses that quickly.
I'm still mad that I can't
I
play Star
I
Trek: The Wrath of Gems.
I The Wrath of Jim Kirk.
There's a Voyager
Uh,
Gems,
game coming
gems.
out on Switch like this month.
oh, I've seen that. Apparently, you can like kill Tuvix in it. So
Hell
I don't
yeah.
know.
The
Sounds pretty
Doctor's
cool.
back.
Finally.
Doctor's
I'm
back on the new show. Voyager's a
Yeah.
thing. And Janeway
I've
was back on Prodigy. Yeah.
I've heard the Voyager game is pretty fun, and there's some genuine choices and thinking to be done. Anyway, there is a Forza Horizon 2 expansion called Forza Horizon 2 Presents:
That's right.
Fast and
The
Furious.
Forza one was the one I'd heard about.
Okay, I didn't look at it or touch it because it sounded
Isn't Forza
obvious.
one of them
Yeah, I mean
dork
you're just
racing
playing Forza,
games?
right? So Forza is like the Gran Turismo serious one.
Right.
Forza Horizon is the spin-off that's more like Burnout Paradise,
Oh, okay. Hello.
cruising
Oh.
around, fun game.
Oh, I just assumed Forza was Forza. I didn't know there
No,
was
there's
the
two. There's
fun
the
version.
Horizon and Motorsport are two very different games.
That's the problem when you make your
Hmm.
brand so strong, everyone just sees Forza and assumes it's a dork racer.
Yeah, no, Forza Horizon is like the open world. Like they did London, they did Mexico. The next one's going to be Japan.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're very fun.
Okay, maybe I'll give that a shot when I see it for cheap or something.
I mean, yeah, there's been
Um,
like we're about to get the sixth one, so you can probably find like four or five for dirt cheap.
yeah. So Fast and Furious Crossroads came out for Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. I tried to illegally download this. Actually, legally, I tried to legally download it because you can't purchase it. So it is legal to download it. Um, but I couldn't get like any of the torrents to work because it's
Hmm.
33 gigabytes and no one likes it enough to seed it. So so I watched a decent amount of it on YouTube. It seemed kind of fun at first, but a lot of this plot revolves around a couple of new characters who are mechanics who are they're fun enough, but it's the overall thing seemed kind of bland. It's very, very, very low rated. People don't like it. It was definitely more the gameplay was more polished. There were cars on the road, things like that. Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez and Tyrese Gibson, at the very least, all of them are doing voices in it. Like that's definitely they are voicing their characters. So it's a high value, high production value game that failed horribly
Unless
because
they
on
phone it in like
Metacritic,
the theme park ride.
I think they kind of did. The really bad acting is like other people in other games, like the guy who just talks to you in the first game. So anyway, Fast and Furious Showdown. Let's see how it's doing on Metacritic. That's the 2013 one. 22 Metascore, 1.5 user score. So that means I have to read 10 reviews, right? Speechless. Better than the film. Better than GTA 5. No lie. Blows you away like a fan. The gameplay simulates real life better than Likings, OG, Gran Turismo, and Forza. See you on the streets.
See you on the
Um,
streets.
okay, here's a 0 review. Tell me that's a joke. Tell me that's a joke. Tell me that it's just a nightmare. I do not know whether to laugh or to cry. The PS1 games compared to this crap are fabulous and still fresh and current. Anyway, yeah, I would also like to mention that almost every one of these games I played, aside from the arcade game, feels like it's from the generation prior. It's very much okay. Fast and Furious Crossroads, which is the newer one, which you still can't buy, has a 35 Metascore, but still 1.7 user score. People still hate it. Let's see. I actually regret so much. This is a 10. I actually regret so much that I didn't buy the game until it was removed from the store windows. That only now in 2025 I found it in the CD version so I could buy it. And from what I've noticed, it's getting rarer and rarer. The game itself is good. I really like the story. The only thing is related to the graphics. It looks like you are playing on a PS2, but I have nothing against that. I saw that the multiplayer still works, but no one is playing anymore. Personally, I liked it even if the story is short and you finish in 3 to 4 hours. But I, for one, am a big fan of the series, and I said to give it a chance, and I don't regret it. I like that the voices are done by the original actors, although it seems that they invested more in the voice instead of the game. But I'm not. Wait.
I'm not waiting.
I'm not. complaining. I for one recommend it. Sorry, like it threw me because the cutoff was like almost at the very end.
Hmm.
uh, there's a zero that's in Spanish. Just killed it with fire. Don't even waste money to this game, and don't waste time with this game. Worst game I ever played. Vomitingly bad and cringe story, PS2 era graphics, garbage controls, force asterisks gameplay. I guess you can't say whatever word they said. uh, yeah, and so I don't think we've gotten like a worthy like home console PC Fast and Furious
It's so
game.
bizarre because, like, say with the roller coasters, it should be so simple to make just, you know, a racing game, and then put every now and then you do a level where you do a heist or something.
Yeah, I would point to like it's so hard for Grand Theft Auto to do what they do. Clearly, it takes them 20 years to make a game,
Yeah, but
and
that's not because of like the driving's good. That's because they make
yeah,
big old worlds.
but it's just I feel like that would kind of be an overlap with this type of like you would be wanting to play different types of
Hmm.
big set piece driving
I guess
things.
the longer the film franchise goes on, the less they can just make a street racing game.
Yeah, and also I don't know. It's hard to make these like big. Haven't we had a bunch of these things fail, like an Avengers game, a Suicide Squad game,
Hmm.
like a lot of these big, like
It's hard to make a
franchise
good game
things
for
have
a
just.
franchise. Even ones that do have good games, it
Well,
takes them like 15
Well,
tries half the time.
some
Spider-Man,
no, but
for
see,
instance.
Spider-Man and Batman did well because they weren't that closely tied to any film.
Yeah, and also that's a
Like
one
Fast and
character.
Furious, you can't just adapt like the concept and not have any of the actors and set pieces and
There's
stuff.
some violently bad Batman games, say, like
Yeah,
on
yeah, but
older
in
consoles.
more recent years, there's been the trilogy of really good ones,
Yeah, no, I'm just
and
saying
same with
it took like
Spider-Man, right?
15 Batman games to really, from the start of Batman games to really get one that, knocked it out of the
I
Mm.
park.
I don't know,
There was
man.
some
The
good beat 'em
NES
ups and
game
stuff
was
back in the day.
great. I
Which
I
one?
think Batman has a better hit rate. The NES game. I mean, that was like for an NES game, that was one of
And
the
Spider-Man's been
best.
decent for a while, just because once as soon as they nailed swinging, even like the crap
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man games were still fun to swing around.
Yeah, I mean Dreamcast Spider-Man, like the PlayStation 2 ones, there's a wild hit rate with that. But again, it's like one character. I think it's
Hmm.
harder to make an X-Men game. Like even now, like what are they make? They're making a
They're making
Wolverine game.
Wolverine. Well, the best
Yeah, and
X-Men game was Marvel Midnight Suns. Because
I have that.
An X-Men XCOM is what makes the most sense.
I have that and have not played it, but I've heard it is great and I know I want to play it. But
Anyway, the best Fast and Furious game I've played is when I made all of the cast as me's, and I selected a different Mario Kart track to represent each film.
nice.
But that was an article I did years ago, and it went up to 8. I'll have to redo it one day.
I mean, hell, there might be an incredible Fast and Furious game in Roblox.
I'm sure there
That
is,
would
but I don't want to get, you know, groomed.
no. No, me neither. I'm still vulnerable.
I guess we tie a knot on this one. I feel like
Yep.
you just got up to the present mark. Is that where we are?
This was the most ramblingest podcast we've ever put out. This was
Yeah,
for no one.
I gotta say, you still can go to an arcade and play Fast and the Furious super bikes or supercars, and it's still worth your time because the cruising formula is just classic. Or, Cruise and Blast is the most recent, whatever you can call that, a Fast and Furious game if you want.
I guess the thing with
Um,
Fast and Furious is just there's so many. Like, yeah, you skin them and put them in skin them. You put skins on and put them in a different game, right? Because every facet of Fast and Furious is pretty
yeah.
much covered in a different video game already. You know?
Well, yeah, but there are set pieces. I've never seen a video game where like hundreds of remote control cars are coming out of a garage where you're trying to get away.
Hmm.
There part of what's special about the series is it's kind of gamey, but they do things that feel like they would be at least very difficult to do in video games. Because the thing about stunts is they have to work the way that they work, and with games you have to account for like total chaos, or else you're just
Mm.
hitting QuickTime events, which sucks.
Mm,
So I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Fear Fast Forever game
I'm sure we
that
will. And we'll check out the
a
Metacritic
mobile
score.
game. Yeah, it'll be on mobile game, and
Hopefully you'll
you'll be
get the
able to
match
play it.
three.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll put out match three. They'll put out a roguelite match three with a gacha mechanic in it.
That's the one I'd play though. I've said before, I've never watched, well, I watched like the first episode of Stranger Things, but all my knowledge of playing Stranger Things is playing the weird Zelda mobile clone, which I did finish.
I feel like the most Stranger Things I did was just play Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon a bunch of times.
Okay, that's in the similar
Yeah.
vein. Um, yeah, I guess we'll wrap this guy up for today. If you did want to hear us ramble some more, head for podcastiopodcastius.org or do it on Patreon. This is Films and Filth. What else we got? Time Enough Podcast. We're doing the Twilight Zone. Luke Loves Pokemon coming back after January, as Luke said. Monster Mash.
Yeah,
Monster
the
Things
the
Up.
the first episode of the new season is up on Patreon already and will be out next week.
Okay, so it's just there. It's a real thing. Game show.
Bye.
Laters. Okay, we're peeling out. I'd make a sound effect, but you can put in a sound effect here. Okay, ready and peeling out sound effect.
It's gonna be Wario farting.
Okay. I will hit my record then when I
I
figure out.
just realized were we doing a fucking podcast tomorrow?
No. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, what we
I
are?
guess I'll hit record.